Kill Martha! Save Martha!
Stop!
Why did you say that name?
It's his mother's name! It's his mother's name.
Hey everybody, I'm John.
I'm John.
And I'm Ethan, and welcome to the review for the 2016 action thriller, The Accountant.
Woo!
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you know, we have a lot of great things to say about this one.
I was excited for this.
This has been on my most anticipated list since its trailer back in the spring, and just the cinematography, the themes in the movie, I was just pulled right in, and I just didn't want to be disappointed.
As soon as I saw Ben Affleck was in this, right after Batman vs Superman, I know I had to see it.
Right, and say what you will about Batman v Superman, but Ben Affleck's overall performance was really good.
Yes.
His portrayal of the Dark Knight.
Some would say that he's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really think he just needed a movie to just kind of elevate himself past the controversy and then just show again that Ben Affleck, he's the man. And you know what? I think we got it.
Much like Dawn of Justice, he is one of the greatest parts of this movie, as well as the rest of the cast, like Anna Kendrick, J.K. Simmons, Jeffrey Tambor, John Bernthal, everyone in this movie. Great job.
Absolutely.
Everyone
Not
delivered.
to spoil anything, but Ben Affleck plays someone with high-functioning autism.
Right.
And I was really impressed with his performance.
I think it's a really difficult role to get yourself into.
Right, because you can't overplay it, because then it either comes off as offensive or just moronic.
Right.
Yeah.
But he played off just the right amount of just being unnerving a little bit. Because there was always that sense, you could just tell, just like right beneath the surface, there was a lot going on with this guy, and just with the slightest imbalance, he could just go off in an instant.
And Ben Affleck is coming off of Batman, just playing the most like aggressive, manly guy that you could possibly have. So it's a very kind of interesting take for him, but I think he really killed it.
Absolutely, this movie was just great for his range. Another absolutely great thing about this movie, it's I think my personal favorite, was the action. And I know I'm the action guy. If anyone's been on the channel long enough, you know it's between me and Alex. He's not here right now. But this movie really just reminded me of John Wick.
Absolutely.
And I love the action that it was kind of like gun-fu-ish, but in this I felt like it was Jason Bourne mixed with John Wick, so we got some absolutely fantastic hand-to-hand fight scenes.
Absolutely.
And everything had weight to it, and that's the one thing I loved about this movie. Nothing felt clean. It felt gritty. It felt like I'm trying to kill you.
Absolutely.
The first big fight in this movie kind of came out of nowhere, and it really just hit me hard for that reason. Like I wasn't expecting it, and I think that's really when the movie took a turn up for me. Like after maybe about the first quarter of it, when that first fight scene hit, is when it really just started going up for me.
Right. This movie also has a lot of emotional appeal.
Yeah, I was actually very surprised by the way the movie was able to balance its actually really cool action scenes and its pretty heavy emotional scenes as well, because there are a ton of times you're like, oh man.
You know, I have to say, Gavin O'Connor does a great job with doing this in his movies, especially in Warrior, the last movie, and that movie towards the finale of that one, I was literally in tears.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what? However, this movie had a lot of great things going for it, and overall, I would call it a great movie. It did have some pretty noticeable flaws.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing that we can all agree on is that it's pretty convoluted. And for the first two-thirds, I'd say it's paced relatively well. And then there's a certain point in a movie where one character just fills everything with exposition, and then from then, it just crams in like the last third.
I mean, I don't think I use the word plot dump a lot, but this really is just a plot dump. Like another character says, all right, fill me in, what have we got? And then throughout that sequence, it's just like, here's one thing, here's another.
Yeah.
It's a lot of crucial information kind of packed into this one sequence, so it might be a lot to take in.
And it's really easy just to let these bits of information fly past you.
Absolutely.
There were definitely things and scenes where like I was already watching the next scene and something didn't register with me, and I didn't realize until after the movie, I'm like, oh, that's what that was.
There's just a ton of good ideas on the table here, I think, but not all of them are necessary, and when they're all kind of crammed in, it doesn't really come off as streamlined. So I think there's a lot of subplots at play here with a lot of different characters that are brought in kind of interesting different ways through like flashbacks and stories, and even though I liked the subplots, I think it could have done without a lot of them.
Yeah, and you know what? Something that just kind of, I think this is a product of the convolution of the movie, But we had some minor plot holes, and I think the reason why is because the writers were writing so many different subplots in here, they
Right.
forgot to tie up or explain certain things.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's this one big thing in the movie, and I'm going to try to explain this without spoilers, but it involves someone is, like, all-knowing, and they don't explain why.
Right, and while it might give an explanation later on, it's still not the greatest one. It's not the most believable one, but
Yeah.
it's something. Although we would have liked something better at least.
It's just very hard to follow at a lot of times. Like, maybe some of these plot holes are in fact explained, but we just couldn't keep up with it. I think that's honestly to the movie's fault.
And, you know, I feel like this movie, overall, with some consideration, I think this movie could have done without about 10 minutes of its runtime, just a little bit here and there, just to consolidate some of these subplots.
For sure.
But overall, guys, what'd you think?
You know what? I love The Accountant. Really, I'm really happy I saw it. Although I did get pretty tied up with the plot holes and things like that, and there were a lot of scenes that just kind of flew by me. I'm gonna have to see this again, but still, I love The Accountant. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Whew, pretty high rating.
I love it.
You know, I also love The Accountant. It's honestly, it's a great movie. It has a very engrossing story. The action's fantastic. The cast delivers the best overall performance I think I've seen all year. And it just has a lot of emotional impact, and it hit me at home, especially towards the last third. However, it did have some convolution issues, like Ethan said, and I think that's the major thing. I really enjoyed The Accountant, which is why I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars.
I
What you got?
pretty much agree with you guys on all fronts. I really love this movie. To me, every single problem it had was in the script.
Right.
If the script had been cleaned up completely, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. If the script had been cleaned up, I thought that there were kind of a lot of minor plot holes, and a lot of the convolution kind of took you out of it, took away some of the tension at times. I think it made it hard to follow. But other than that, the performances were great. The dialogue was great. There was just a really interesting original story to it with a great cast and superb action. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars.
We like this movie.
Absolutely.
We did.
So guys, how did you like the review? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please make sure to let us know in the comments. Also, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our awesome channel if you haven't already done so. You can also buy some really cool merchandise like this at cafepress.com/Stubmasters. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Ethan.
I'm John.
Have an excellent day.